Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to Markets on the Move, literally on the move. Today, we're out in the country talking with Oliver Sloup of Blue Line Futures. And Oliver, good to visit with you. You're a busy camper this week. You're on the Pro Farmer Crop Tour as one of the participants out there in the field. And you've been doing live updates all through the day. Very impressive with all the samples that have been gathered so far. It seems like a wide variety. Give me your perspective.
A wide variety is right. And we're on the eastern leg of the tour, so we had our kind of inaugural meeting last night just outside of Columbus in Dublin, Ohio. And we actually have a split route. So half of our team did Ohio counties today, and we took the back half of the route, which started in Indiana. From what it sounded like in Ohio, I would say probably a little bit underwhelming. And I think that was really the theme of what we saw on our route in Indiana as well, as we made our way through the counties. Last year, the USDA came in at 198. Our average sample yield for our tour today was about 197. So a little bit underwhelming on that and well below what the expectations are. The USDA has Indiana pegged at 205. So underwhelming, I think, is probably the theme. A lot of tip back. Talked to a farmer in Bernay, Indiana, and he had talked about the similarities between this year and last year with regards to the weather and how this crop is finishing. They need a rain right now. They've got about a 50% chance tomorrow, and then really nothing on the forecast for the next 10 days. So there's still some big question marks out there. But all in all, it was good to get some boots on the ground and kind of see what's out there. Day one on our route specifically, again, I think underwhelming is the theme. We'll kind of see what the Pro Farmer Crop Tour comes out with, though, this evening as a wider barometer on things.
Now, if you compare against a lot of the other participants taking part in the other half of the tour, in the western leg, now there, for example, in South Dakota, they've had some just crazy high yield potential out there, and in northeast Nebraska. Then, of course, you run into some storm damage problems in some areas. In fact, I saw some aerial views that some provided, and you have some fields, I forget, it may have been in parts of Iowa, that they look great from the road, and then you take a drone and look at it from above, and the center half of the field might be drowned out. There's nothing there, so that makes it kind of hard to figure.
Yeah, and that's why we do the tour, to get out there and see for ourselves. Just driving down the road, you suspect that everything looks pretty darn good, but once you actually get out there seem to be more isolated problem areas than we had probably originally thought. I think with the expectation so high, we just assumed we were going to see good corn pretty much at every field we stopped, and that certainly wasn't the case today, and I suspect it probably won't be as we continue to make our way west. So we'll be finishing up Indiana tomorrow and then work our way into Illinois. I'm excited to see all those areas, and then obviously Iowa's going to be a big one as well, where weather may have been a bigger issue for some areas.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong, but you're starting on the east end of the Corn Belt. Some folks are starting out way on the west end of the Corn Belt. Are you all gradually working toward the center as the tour goes on?
Yeah, so we start, and then we basically kind of meet halfway in Iowa and converge there, and then from there we go straight up to Rochester and kind of branch out up into Minnesota. So the eastern side covers part of Iowa, and the western side covers the bulk of Iowa. So again, I think that's probably going to be the most exciting to see as far as results go. The people that are anticipating, what Illinois and Iowa are going to hold, those are kind of the keys to the castle, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I kind of get the impression that maybe you're going to see some of the worst corn in the first part of the tour this year, and it may get better as you go. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I would probably imagine you're probably pretty spot on. Again, I do know that there were some isolated weather issues in Iowa, so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like when we get in there. And then the pollination issue, too. We had heard probably the most reportings of that in Iowa. Again, it's how big of an issue is it? Is it just isolated in a small area, or is it a wider issue that people just aren't really talking about yet? And that's still to be determined. Hopefully we'll get a better idea of that this week.
Some areas said they were surprised at how relatively immature the corn is. What do you think?
We didn't really stumble into much immature corn. Everything seemed like it was, on the good path. Pretty mature, some denting. So some of it's almost there. Some of it, like I said, probably use another shot of rain here before it gets too late.
Okay, well, the market didn't seem to react too much to it today. Corn a little bit stronger today. Soybeans dropped a couple of pennies. Wheat was kind of a watcher. Can you gather anything from that? Do you think the market's just kind of waiting for the end of the tour?
Well, I would say that it's kind of like what you and I talked about last week. Following that WASDE report where the USDA came out with such a bearish number, the market did such a good job at rejecting lower prices after arguably one of the most bearish reports that I can recall for August. I mean, you increase the yield like that and throw on another 2 million acres, you'd think there'd be reason to see that selling really accelerate to the downside. And we only took out the prior week's lows by a few cents, and then we're able to defend the WASDE lows to wrap up the next couple of days. So again, the price action, despite the bearish report, was really, really constructive. I wouldn't be surprised to see that continue to maybe build a little bit of a base. That doesn't mean we're out of the woods just yet. The bulls still have a lot of work to do on the chart, and I think the upside potential, maybe it's there, but I think it's probably somewhat limited with how undersold the farmer is.
Livestock trade today, the big winner, feeder cattle. I believe we carved out new highs. Is that right today?
Yeah, feeder cattle got a shot in the arm and just took off. It was kind of a quiet trade early on. We talked about the trading ranges expanding for live cattle and feeder cattle. I did another interview earlier this morning with RFD TV, and when that was going on, I think we were in about a $2 range for feeder cattle and a similar range for live cattle. And then the range just expanded. And it goes back to what you and I've talked about before. You get a large part of these daily ranges in the span of about 20 or 30 minutes, it seems, and then it just kind of peters out. So it's a wild market. That's for sure. And I don't know where the end is to this, but it'll be interesting as the trading ranges, volatility, fund positioning continues to be hot topics in that market.
Well, I know you're very busy, and as we record this, you're just kind of getting reset after a lunch break. Thank you for the updates today. What's on the agenda tomorrow then for you?
Well, tomorrow we have yet to decide. We'll have to talk with the rest of our group who took the other half of the route, and we'll kind of fight over who gets what counties. But we'll certainly keep you posted on that. And as you had mentioned, we're doing a lot of updates on our portal throughout the day, updating pictures and yield checks and any information we come across there. So it's a great place to follow along on whatever counties we get assigned to tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for providing all that, and keep up the good work out there. I appreciate it. Very valuable information. And again, you can keep up with everything. Just go to Blue Line Futures and check everything out there that they have to offer. It's great stuff. Thank you, Oliver. Stay safe. All right.
Thanks, Marlin. Take care.
Oliver Sloup with us from Blue Line Futures, and that'll do it for this particular episode. We'll catch you next time on Markets on the Move.
Hi, I'm Oliver Sloup, co-founder and vice president of Blue Line Futures. Join me for the 2025 Pro Farmer Crop Tour live from the heart of the Corn Belt. This year's Pro Farmer Crop Tour runs from August 18th to the 21st, and I'll be boots on the ground covering the eastern leg. I'll still be delivering my regular daily grain market commentary, but this time with a twist. Exclusive real-time updates from crop conditions to yield potential. You'll get my first-hand insights straight from the fields. Sign up now for our exclusive content, including on-the-go videos and in-depth findings you won't find anywhere else.